I am greatly honored to be inducted into the Delta Mu Delta chapter of the Metropolitan College of New York. I, as many of you know, I very much enjoy writing and teaching and giving back, and I greatly appreciate your acknowledgement of my efforts in this space. And special thanks to Rachel Yager, who really reached out and made this happen. I promised Rachel I'd share a few thoughts, so let me share a few thoughts about my life and what advice I could give to graduating seniors looking to go forward in life. And the most important thing that I can tell you right now, well, there's many most important things, but I think this is one of the key ones, which is I think as we go forward in life, you want to consistently think about what are you doing to build your brand. Your brand is you, and give special consideration to everything that you can do, speaking, writing, mentoring, giving back, that helps to build your brand. And here are some points that I think are very critical for building your brand. Number one, make sure you really work on improving and upgrading your interpersonal skills. Writing, communicating, presenting, listening, these are all important interpersonal skills. Ensure that you produce high quality content, but don't get fixated on making sure that content's perfect. Perfect is the enemy of learning, and actually perfect is the enemy of great. What you want to do is you want to do things, put it out there, learn from it, but focus on producing high quality content, which really leads me to this point about social media. Social media is a marvelous channel for getting your word out and communicating with others, but it's also a channel that can very easily be hijacked and weaponized. Be certain that everything you're doing on social media reflects the brand you want to be, and do good on social media. Network, network, network. Make sure you're consistently looking and finding people from whom you can learn and from whom you can have exchanges. And the last point, find ways to give back, right? Find ways to teach, to speak, to mentors, to reach out to others. And as you go through this entire process, give special consideration to what do you want your brand to represent, and ensure that everything you're doing is consistent with that brand you want to be. Now, when you talk to people about how do you future-proof your career, especially people who just came out of college, who spent all this time in education and are anxious to jump right into learning, sorry, learning is a continuous thing. You're going to have to be focused on continuous learning. And there are 3 skills in particular, well, 4 in reality, but 3 disciplines and 1 skill that I think you need to really focus in on. Number 1, really understand where and how advanced analytics can help drive sources of value. Now, it doesn't mean you need to understand how to write a neural network program, but take the time to invest and make sure you understand where and how you can use reinforcement learning and machine learning and artificial intelligence to really help drive value. Number 2, design thinking. That is speaking the language of your customer. And let's be really important. If you don't start with a customer focus, you're likely to end up in all kinds of different wrong places. Fanatical focus on the customer, understanding their jobs to be done, their pains and their gains, their journey, is the starting point for building a future-proof career. And the last discipline, of course, is economics. Economics is the discipline about the creation and distribution of wealth or value. Economics is the language of business. And you take those 3 disciplines and you put on top of that a collaborative and skill set, an ability to collaborate with others, to embrace diverse opinions, even opinions you may not agree with, and you may fire you up at how much you don't like that opinion, but you need to make certain you have the right collaborative skills so that you can reach across people who you may not agree with and understand their rationale. Why do they believe the way they do? And be willing to unlearn and embrace something different. It is through conflict that we will grow and become better. Finally, my own personal trials, tribulations, and career lessons. Yeah, I've had many failures in my life. I've been fired several times. And each one of those situations offers an opportunity to review what is important to you. Now, I'll tell you right now, I think the most important thing on this chart is to maintain high personal accountability. That don't blame others for the predicament you are in. Own it. Because the minute you blame someone else, you are giving them the right to control you. I don't want that. No, I'm going to own my mistakes so I can learn from my mistakes, so I can grow and not make them again. I'm not going to make my life dependent on what others think. I want to make it dependent on what I do, and I'm going to own my mistakes. Learn to channel stress. Some people use yoga. Some people jog. Me, I hike. I find hiking is a great way for me to take a stressful situation, to calm down and process things. And sometimes some great things happen when I do that. Continuously learn. I talked about that earlier. I think that's a very critical point because life is going to change. Technologies are going to change. Environments are going to change. You got to be willing to continuously learn. Surround yourself with positive influences. That's not only people, but organizations. Some people rely on faith or other sort of community things to help put them in a situation where they're being influenced by positive influences. Be resourceful, be creative, but also be fearless. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. I have made mistakes in my life. I've paid for those mistakes, but I was fearless to try things. I also got to tell you, I was fearless on some things that have turned out to be game changers career-wise. Don't sit back on your hands and hope things are going to work out for you. Be fearless, jump in. Sometimes jump into situations that may not be right, but at least you can learn from them and move on. Just keep going. Be resilient. You're going to run into tough times. You're going to run into situations where people don't believe in what you're about. Just okay. Be resilient. Keep going. And the last couple of points here. Have fun and smile. Hey, we only go around once in life. Enjoy it, right? Put a smile on your face. Have fun on what you're doing. And the last point here is believe in yourself. Always believe in yourself, no matter what goes on around you, no matter how good or bad it might be. Always believe in yourself as being that source of power to control your destiny. So again, thank you very much to the Delta Mu Delta chapter of the Metropolitan College of New York, and especially thank you to Rachel for this great honor. I wish I could be there in person. If this COVID-19 situation wasn't here, I would be there. I'd love to be in New York, and hopefully when things get back to normal, I can make a visit and we can have a great time of it. Again, thank you very much for the honor.